just liked if he had apologized to me publicly. No, I'm satisfied. Yeah, 100%. ESPN was really supportive, and I appreciate it. All the executives had my backs.
Well, I'm gonna be banned, and I don't work for them. I gotta be banned from ESPN. I got my own show. I don't even have to respond to that on the fact that I meant no sexual intent or nothing on the fact that switch gears mean change topics to me.
Right.
Her mind in the gutter if she thinking something else. Only time I hit on her if she breaking in my house and I was mistaken for the boogeyman.
Now, we're not finished because there's something else going on that happened this week that needs to be addressed. And I don't know your feelings. We didn't talk about this in pre-production or anything. This is coming as a surprise to you. But Hendo, did you see the situation between Molly Qerim and one Lavar Ball on ESPN, where now they're banning him from ESPN programming? I feel that it was a misunderstanding, that Lavar Ball did not mean anything by what he said. I feel that she overreacted. I'm just going to come out and say it. She overreacted because when they followed up and she said behave or whatever she said, he didn't acknowledge it. When Stephen A. Smith was next to him, was looking at, and Max Kellerman on the screen, he didn't acknowledge that because he didn't mean anything by that. Nothing in his track record has shown that he tries to be sexist or tries to come on to women in sports or off of sports, because his wife had a stroke. He is with her like she hadn't even had a stroke. He's there motivating her. He talks to her. You can see the love, that he doesn't love her any less because she's recovering from a stroke. So I don't see it in his character to try to say some sexual innuendo with any women, because I've never seen it in his track record, because you know that would have come out by now.
Well, maybe it hasn't come out before, but it happened. We look at that incident. Is it as big as the media has portrayed?
No.
I don't think so.
I want to touch on this. He did not mean anything by it.
I understand.
Look at his expression.
I understand.
Like, you know when a joke goes wrong? It wasn't. He's just, okay, we'll switch gears with you anytime. And he kept on going. He was looking serious. Like, he never was like smile. He never broke, because in his mind, it's like any subject. What do you mean by switch gears? It's a subject. I can talk about anything. He's always, you're trying to challenge me? Come on, I'll talk about anything. I'll switch gears with you anytime.
So maybe more of a misunderstanding.
This is what I'm trying to get at. She took it as the wrong way when...
But is she wrong?
She is, because, for me, she's wrong because when they say it's equality in sports, if you took her out of the equation and put another man in there, and he said, I'm ready to switch gears with you anytime, I'm Big Baller Brand, I'll talk about anything, like he did, would we even be talking about this?
I don't think so.
No. So that's the part that gets me, is that you want to say it's equality, and you look at the people involved and you look at their track record and see, does this line up?
Oh, so we need to take the whole totality into account.
You can look to his character. He treats everybody the same way. Stay in your lane, Christine Leahy. Stay in your lane.
Okay.
He didn't care that it was a woman. He looks at you. For him, it's, you challenging me and my boys? Never lost. That's how he looks at everything. It's a challenge.
Okay.
So you're like, oh, you think you're going to trip me up? We can talk about any subject. Because you have to look at the footage and see in his eyes, in his mannerisms, he never broke. Even when they were giggling, he never broke. He was like, settle down, or whatever she said. He didn't break from it. He never acknowledged that because his mind wasn't thinking that. Her mind went there. Because
they each experience a thing.
Yes.
And in different ways.
In different ways. Now, I've seen Molly in the past when she was on her way up. I think it was even on NFL Network, where one of the guys, she was wearing a dress, and they were doing this little segment, and she was supposed to hike the ball, so she was going to hike it sideways, and the guy was like telling her to hike it the other way. She has a dress on. She said, come on, and so she giggled and laughed it off. I believe because at the point in her career, she made no big deal about that. That was way over the top. Why would a woman in a dress hike a ball to a guy and you reach under there to get the ball? That's ridiculous. I feel that LaVar Ball did not do anything wrong in this instance, and I see a lot of support for him. Now, here's the thing. He is LaVar Ball. He doesn't have to beg ESPN. He doesn't ask to be on the show. They ask him. Now, will ESPN really stand on their moral and laurels? Will they then now stop covering LaVar Ball?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Let's be real.
You got to stand by Molly because you believe inside that you think he was trying to do a sexual innuendo.
Well, they're not gonna not cover him.
No. You need to.
He's still a newsmaker.
No.
Be real.
I know, be real, but I'm saying they're having their cake and eat it too.
You know it happens.
Here it is. There's a Fox Sports Network out there, and he's been on that more than on ESPN, so it doesn't really matter to him whether he's on there or not. He has the Facebook show. He has YouTube. It doesn't matter to him. And he's not going to apologize because he didn't do any. To me, he didn't do anything wrong. Now, I'm a person where when you disrespect women and all those things, I'm 100% behind the woman. But I feel that based on his reaction and the way I see him with his wife, and no other instances of this, if I just go by facts, he has no track record.
What you have observed.
What I've observed and heard, and people supporting him, other women.
So what we're saying is that maybe we've jumped too much on it.
Yes.
I think too much and not acknowledged that maybe the possibility exists that he wasn't making any window at all.
No one's doing that. And he's not jumping to his own defense. Be like, he's not saying, no, I did it. He's not doing that because he's like, did it show that I did that? Did you notice how I kept going on? I didn't acknowledge her, whatever, because I didn't know what she was talking about, because he's there to talk about sports and defend his sons and tell you how great they are.
So, two people experience the same event, experience it differently. And
I think she jumped the gun. She overreacted.
Well, she reacted the way she interpreted it.
Yes, and I feel that,
and maybe
it's more on her
with different eyes on it. Maybe
he don't care what Molly Qerim looks like. He could care less. To see on that show. Now, I'm watching the show and I see how he interacts with her because that's his wife and he loves her, and you wouldn't even know that she had a stroke or anything based on how he treats and talks and speaks with her.
Based on what you understand.
What I understand, yeah.
Okay. Well,
and his personality is one that it won't allow you to be weak-minded. Like, sometimes you need that tough love. And at first I would think, is he just like this because the cameras are here? But then I look back on old footage, and before, even when he was bigger, Lavar, a bigger guy, he's always been in the neighborhood training the kids. I'll say he's tempered down some. Now he's not as boisterous as he was prior to the cameras, actually. I think he's tailored back some.
Well, I don't know if the American people will agree with you on that.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what it is in the polling. Maybe I'll put a poll out. I'll do that to see what it is. But I feel, based on how he reacted and how he did indulge anybody giggling and things, that he did not mean any sexual thing. He's always defending his family. It's never about, you're a woman, I'm a man. He said, I don't care about man and woman. You're a reporter, so I'm going to treat you the same way I treat everybody.
Okay.
And so when they're fighting for equality all the time in sports, just like I don't agree with, why can women be in the men's locker room but men can't be in the women's locker room?
In my opinion, we shouldn't be interviewing players in the locker room.
Thank you.
There's no reason to do that.
There's no reason to. Let's wait till they get finished handling their business.
Let them do stuff in the locker room and come out and have the press conference.
I'm saying this because they're always talking about equality.
And that would be truly equal. Hey, let's just wait till they're finished. Come out, do your press conference.
But we know, let's be real with ourselves, Americans. We know that it's not equal because a man and a woman, it's a man and a woman, a male, female, different. It's different things you look at. Do they worry about the guys being pretty? They don't. When the women get a certain age, do they reduce their roles to something else? Let's just be real. Let's be real with it. These are real things in the workplace. Look at ESPN's overhaul in the last 2 or 3 years ago where they got rid of people. come on now. The sports. You want that young, pretty face talking to the players. Let's just be real if we want to be real here. I know I'm opening up a can of worms, but it's
worms
just
everywhere.
Festering
these worms won't get back in this can.
Equality. It's you're a man, it's a woman. We have our different roles, but let's be equal in the fact that if you're in this position, unless you really feel that, I felt that it was inappropriate for Molly to suggest that. Actually, she could have waited to after the commercial break and said something about that. Because he did not, even in the middle of that awkwardness, he didn't respond to it. Let's switch gears. We can switch gears anytime. He's always ready for a challenge. We can switch subjects anytime. I'm ready for it. You think you're going to trip me up? You can't. I'm Lavar Ball, never lost. Undefeated. Well, I guess that brings us to the conclusion of this episode of the Justice League podcast. We had a great time. We will see you next time. I am Pedro Justice, and he is
your friendly neighborhood Hendo Man.
And we're out.